Go live. Okay, go live.
Hi.
Hello. All right, let me check to make sure that the stream is coming through all right. Hello. Let's see. Let me mute the sound while I'm at it. Okay, yeah, sound is muted. And it looks good. I think. I think. Okay. All right. And I'm going to cut that off so that I have a little bit more broadband available here. Hello, everybody. Hello, Thumbfinger. You are the first in the chat room. Folks, we got a lot of stuff to cover tonight. Welcome. I'm not going to do music like I usually do at the very beginning. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little bit of unusual audio. I wasn't here last week. And one of the things that I unearthed since last week is this little cassette here. It says 3 commercials. Ernie Anderson. Now, Ernie Anderson is very, very, very famous in Cleveland folklore because he was the host of a television show called Ghoulardi. He was a horror movie host, and he made fun of the movies and stuff like that. And then around 1970, 1971, he quit that and went off to ABC TV in Los Angeles to become their staff announcer. If you watch the old announcements announcing TV programs, you might hear him announcing the Love Boat. He had those golden tones. Anyway, he was also a very big radio commercial announcer on radio in the Cleveland area and nationwide. That's why he got picked up by Los Angeles to do the nationwide stuff. Anyway, so I've got this cassette here. I'm going to play these 3 commercials, which are ancient. So I'm going to mute my microphone. So we'll be coming back as soon as these commercials are done. All right. Here comes the audio from a cassette.
Hello, Midville Insurance Agency. This is Hard Luck Henry.
Oh, you again. Well, what now?
My windshield got broken.
No. How?
Well, I parked my car under a tree, which happened to have a tree trimmer working up in it. And you know my luck.
Yeah, I know. A limb fell through your windshield, right?
No, the tree trimmer did.
No. Well, this time you're lucky, Hard Luck. Your policy covers your windshield, and you can go get an LOF windshield and have it installed by glass experts.
What kind of a windshield did you say?
An LOF windshield, made by Libby Owens Ford.
Hello, Midville Insurance Agency. This is Hard Luck Henry again.
No, not you.
I broke my windshield with a hammer.
Naturally. All right, tell me how it happened.
Well, I was up on the roof of my house nailing down some shingles, and my car was parked in the driveway.
I know. You dropped the hammer through your windshield.
No, I didn't drop it. I still had hold of it when I fell.
No. Well, you're a lucky man, Hard Luck. Your policy covers your windshield. Now you can go get a new LOF windshield and have it installed by experts.
What kind of a windshield did you say?
An LOF windshield, made by Libby Owens Ford.
Hello, Midville Insurance Agency. This is Hard Luck Henry. My windshield broke again.
Oh, no. How?
I was changing a tire, and my wife was nagging me, said I was doing it all wrong.
Yes. And then?
I said, okay, you do it, and threw the wrench at her.
Oh, did you hurt her?
No, darn it. Glanced off her head through the windshield.
Yeah. Right to the well. You're a lucky man, Hard Luck. Your policy covers your windshield. Go get a new LOF windshield and have it installed by Glass Expert.
What kind of windshield did you say?
An LOF windshield made by Libby Owens Ford.
Okay, that's that stuff right there. And are you ready? Let's do this. Yes, Roman is here. And we are drinking our respective beverages of choice. Now, I've got good old Diet Coke, but it has chosen Canada Dry Ginger Ale for two reasons. Number one, because he's recovering from strep throat. How he got it, I'll never know. And number two, he likes it. He likes the way it tastes. Feels good to your throat, doesn't it? Okay. All right. So let's get this show on the road. I was not here last week. Well, I was here, but man, was I busy. What we did is in another part of the basement, there was a whole bunch of stuff that was just stored, and it was a big mess. And what I did is I cleared the whole place out, and now I'm just getting rid of stuff, getting things sorted in, trying to make more room for records and other things as well. So, and in the process, I happened upon this Scotch broadcast cassette here. 3 commercials, Ernie Anderson. Now, that handwriting is the writing of Ron Swede. Now, you heard me talking at the very beginning about how Ernie Anderson used to be a character on TV called Ghoulardi. Well, when he left Cleveland and went to LA to be a staff announcer for ABC television, he gave permission to Ron Swede to continue the Ghoulardi character, but he said, just don't call it Ghoulardi. Call it the Ghoul. And a television legend was born. And Ron Swede, a.k.a. the Ghoul, is no longer with us, but his memory lives on. Same with Ernie. A monumental, bless you, a monumental figure in Cleveland broadcasting. All right, quickly, let's say hello to people in the chat room. We got Thumbfinger. And we've got, yes, there we are. Hello, Kevin. We've got, we're a nomad. We've got Hakan Karazebek. Missed you too. Got good old Paul Ayers. Very, very faithful. I love you folks. It's fantastic. Let's see. Do you like Gastro del Sol? It's a duo of David Grubbs and Jim O'Rourke. Jim O'Rourke, who did some stuff with Sonic Youth. David used to be in Squirrel Bait and Bastro. They're very avant-garde, super beautiful music, minimal and eerie, kind of in the post-rock category. All right. And it's 5 o'clock in the morning in Turkey. All right. Hakan is our Turkish taffy today. But he ain't no piece of candy. He's all right. Okay. We've got NBC was wrong to cancel Quantum Leap. It took a while, but I'm here, and we're glad that you are here. And let's see what else we got here. Yeah. No, they were not Frank Zappa ads, but we do have some Frank Zappa news here. And Kevin says ginger ale is an excellent choice. So that's good. All right. And yes, you had your Diet Coke last week. Last week I put up a little video to say, hey, no live stream this week, and a bunch of you folks sent comments saying no problem, thank you, and really appreciate that. Oh yeah, the Ghoul was huge in Detroit and in San Francisco and in Philly, I believe, on several Kaiser broadcasting stations across the USA. The Ghoul was syndicated and made fun of movies. Oh yeah. Yep, I knew it. Same Jim from Sonic Youth. All right. So we have breaking news. Okay, stuff that we just heard about today. First of all, Frank Zappa type news, but related actually, related Zappa news. Aside from the fact that the next episode of the ZappaCast has been recorded and is in the production process. I just found out while I was preparing for this live stream, and I'm going to read the email that I got. Wait a second here. That tells us all about this. There was an email from Dweezil Zappa. Now, if you're on Dweezil Zappa's mailing list, you got this just about 45 minutes ago. Okay, so this email from Dweezil Zappa, which, as you may already know, is getting ready for a tour late summer and fall across the U.S., playing mostly apostrophe and Roxy and Elsewhere music from his dad Frank's catalog. He my voice is cracking. He writes in this email, "Hello everyone. Quote, I'm in the process of building my guitar rig and seeking sound inspiration, so I thought I'd invite you to be a fly on the wall for an hour. The live stream video is free and will be accessed easily from my homepage on dweezilzappa.com. So I guess you have to go there. He says, join me at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 1 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern Time, on May the 26th, 2024. So that's tomorrow morning, afternoon, or for you folks in Europe, you're going to be able to see that at a decent time of day, unlike you're watching in Turkey right now. Anyway, you can view the multi-camera stream as Dweezil experiments with pedal combinations. And he says there will also be an open forum where viewers can ask questions. At the end of the hour, I will take some time to answer some of your questions. Let's get together tomorrow and try this out. See you at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Actually, Pacific Daylight Time, but we know what you mean. All the best, Dweezil Zappa. Thank you, Dweezil. That is absolutely cool. And I'm going to do what I can to be in the audience watching that. Now, the other big breaking news that just happened today, heard of these guys? The Black Keys? They just put out a new album called Ohio Players. And they were all ready to go out on this thing that they call the International Players Tour. And it was just announced today that they have quietly canceled their International Players Tour for this year. As I read from the Variety webpage, they've quietly canceled their upcoming International Players Tour, which was scheduled to bring them to arenas throughout North America. The tour, announced in early April, was scheduled to kick off in September, with dates set for New York City's Madison Square Garden, Los Angeles' Kia Forum, and the 31-date trek would have brought them across North America, with stops planned in Seattle, Boston, and Milwaukee and Cleveland, before concluding in Detroit's Little Caesars Arena on November 12th. All dates have been marked as canceled on Ticketmaster's website, and no reason was given for their removal. And on the Black Keys website, tour dates have been scrubbed with the exception of one performance, still scheduled for July 6th at NASCAR's Chicago Street Race. That's going to be good for them because there's probably going to be TV coverage on that. But how weird is that the Black Keys have all of a sudden canceled that tour? I'm guessing, is it health reasons? Is it for poor ticket sales? I have yet to listen to this album a second time. The first time I listened to it, it wasn't that great, even though there's lots of cool people on here, including I believe Beck. Let's see, Noel Gallagher, Mike Rojas, Andy Gabbard. Lots of cool people on this record. So I don't know what the deal is, but the Black Keys tour for this year canceled. The Dweezil Zappa tour still on. So that is that. Okay. Those were the first ones. All right. Ba-ba-ba-bum. Okay. Now, something that we generally go over during Bill's Box of Sound is we talk about people who have passed away recently. We got 2 weeks worth of deaths to talk about. Sadly, on May 9th, Dennis Thompson, the last living member of the original MC5, the drummer, passed away. So now that entire band that did Kick Out the Jams, gone from this earth, just like the Ramones, gone. That's crazy. Sax man David Sanborn, who played on hundreds of records. He had a good solo career as well. He played at Woodstock. He was featured on a TV show called Night Music, which featured lots of very cool musical acts. He was on that show. Clevelanders will remember that Cleveland's own Michael Stanley Band had 2 songs that featured David Sanborn on their recorded representations. Well, one was actually for a Michael Stanley album called Friends and Legends. There's a song called Let's Get the Show on the Road. And David Sanborn famously did the sax solo on that. Very, very memorable. And then a few years later, they had a song called One Good Reason. And David played the sax solo on that. Oops, sorry about that. That was a multi-tracked sax solo where you heard 2 or 3 sax solos at the same time. It was very, very cool. Also, David Bowie, Young Americans. That's him. On the Rolling Stones album, Undercover of the Night, that's David Sanborn playing sax. James Taylor's version of How Sweet It Is to Be Loved by You. He's on that. He toured with Stevie Wonder. He toured with a lot of people, but sadly, David Sanborn passed away. I believe it was from a bout with cancer. Another person that we lost is Eric E.T. Thorngren. Now, he was not a performer. He was a producer and an engineer. Did a lot of work with the Talking Heads. You can Google him and find out a lot more about him. He passed away. And last but not least, but sadly, guy who worked a lot with Keith Jarrett, and he was on both of these records, bass player Paul Paley-Danielson, bass player. He passed away just this past week, and there's not a lot of details available about his passing. Sorry to hear about that. So, what else is going on? Just yesterday, I saw the first episode of this new documentary about the Stax record label. And it's available on Max as well as HBO, I believe. But HBO is Max now. So there's 4-hour-long episodes. I saw the first episode last night. It was so good that I'm going to watch the first episode a second time before I go to episode number 2. Lots of very cool stories about how the Stax label got started with Booker T. Jones, talking about Otis Redding. They've got Steve Cropper in there. Just very, 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 very cool. And oh, geez, hello, Mr. Michael P. Dawson. And here's some other news that just plus Doug Ingle, the last surviving member of the classic Iron Butterfly lineup, who did "In a Garden of Eden, baby." Wow, sad to hear about that. Also, Mr. Dawson, I'm going to be talking about you later on in this hour because I haven't done any new videos in the past few weeks. Life has become rather complicated and rather busy. And the only thing that I've had to do in the past 2 weeks that I've been able to do is this little live stream here. But happy to do that for you. But yeah, that Stax documentary is fantastic. Check it on out. Also, let's see. Well, yeah, hang on. I am going to go and grab a record. But if I talk about it, you'll know what the cover is anyway. Let's see. It's way over here. Here we go. This was announced not yesterday, but the Friday before. Pardon me. Rhino Records announced that this album, Devo's Freedom of Choice, has been released in a super high fidelity version cut by Kevin Gray, and all of the reviews that have come in so far have been very, very positive about this. Of course, the usual gang has been given their free copies. And happily, Michael Pilmer has done a little unboxing video on his channel about it. I ordered mine the day it was made available. And they're saying, oh, yeah, we got the copies ready. We're going to ship them out ASAP. I ordered mine the day it was offered, and it hasn't shipped yet. WTF, Rhino Records. Come on. Let's get it moving. Anyway, so I'm very excited that Devo was given the hi-fi treatment. It's about freaking time. So we're gonna move on to that. All right. What else? Can you believe it's been 2 years since I started live streaming on Saturday nights? Did you know that, Roman? 2 years. You were 7 years old when I started doing this. Now you're almost 10. Hard to believe. Anyway, let's see. Hang on. Okay. Some stuff going on in the chat room I'm not completely familiar with. But anyway, so let's keep on going. Now, a few weeks ago on this very, very live stream, I was talking about my record by Spudlock, which is available on Bandcamp. And I issued, or better, it was kind of like a mutual thing. Myself and Mr. Michael P. Dawson talked about, hey, I'll send you a copy of your record if you send me a copy of your record. And he says, that would be a great idea. Or I think Michael came up with it first, actually, in exchange. That's it. I said I should buy one of Michael's records. And he said, let's do an exchange. So that was what we did. So I immediately sent him a copy of the record. And I received a package that had 5 of his 6 albums in it. I was amazed. So, I have not had a chance yet to review Michael's albums. So, excuse me. I get so excited my throat gets dry. Anyway, let's take a look. He sent me 2 CDs and 3 albums. I'm going to go through his albums quickly, and I may do another video which is a bit more in-depth, but I want to talk about these records. I'm going to start with the oldest one, which something that was recorded, I believe, in 94, came out in 95 on CD. This thing, now when I opened this up, I said, this is the Brandenburg Concertos, because that's what it kind of looks like. But it actually says the brand new Bug Concertos. And this is music that's basically electronic. There may be some acoustic instruments on here, but not many. But this album is pretty interesting. Now, the very first track, which is called Prelude to Crunchy Bugs, and strangely enough, a lot of Michael's music seems to deal with insects and small animals and mythical animals. It's very cosmic and very cool. So the first track, which is a real short one called Prelude to Crunchy Bugs, I love because it sounds like a track that could have been on Frank Zappa's Jazz from Hell. Very well constructed. And considering the age of this, being put out in 1995, with what instruments were available to most musicians, but Michael's not a big time musician that has millions of dollars of equipment at his disposal. So with what he could put together, he put together this album of mostly electronic music. Now, a lot of the tracks that are on this, looking back in retrospect, now that it's 2024, sound like they were composed for video games. But you listen to them more than once, and you can tell that there's a lot going on in these things. There's a lot of very cool titles. The Old Bug Variations, Penguin Dust, Under the Double Helix, Tycho Brahe, The Revenge of Eric Von Zipper, and probably one of my favorite tracks on here, aside from Prelude to Crunchy Bugs, is Dr. Hoffman's Problem Child. That one's very cool. I like the way that comes together. So then we move to the vinyl that he sent along. And there is more digital stuff to talk about as I continue. This next one came out in 2015. It's called The Insect Garden. And on this album, Michael plays concert and alto flutes, tenor saxophone, bass clarinet, Moog synthesizers, guitars, electronics, and virtual instruments. And this stuff is pretty cool. I mean, there's tracks on this which is well, he's got stuff that has odd meters in it, kind of like in a King Crimson mood, but a bit more light, kind of like a lighter feeling. There's also some trippy stuff like the Grasshopper's Dreams, and there's a kind of like a dreamy dancing type of thing called Stun That Weevil, and there's a thing called Frog, Spawn, and Peacock, which sounds like pond life dance music to me. It goes on with more tracks on side 2, including a really cool track called Erotic Architecture, which is very soulful and there's sound effects in it that make it sound like it's being played from an old phonograph. Very nice stuff. I liked this probably more than brand new bug concertos, but in different ways. So more bugs, more insects, and then going back into time with Paleozoic, which came out in 2017. Okay. He describes as a fossil record. And on this one, he plays, once again, flutes, saxes, bass clarinet, synthesizers, guitar, lap steel, glockenspiel, and virtual instruments and electronics. You can tell as time goes on that his music's getting more complex and more, there's a lot of thought that goes into it, but you don't have to think about it. The compositions move along. He's got this thing called Extinction Event, which sounds like a moody spy film. Something else that could have been an outtake from Jazz from Hell called Herrings and Ingrids. He's got this Dimetrodon or Dimetrodon, which to me sounds like a King Crimson Goose Step kind of thing. Very cool. There's a pretty track on this called The Heavens of Stars and some symphonic jazz at the end of side one called Bone Wars. And then side two has a whole bunch of stuff. It's got the titles say The Burgess Shale, Carbon 14, Silurian Swamp, Crinoid Drift, and Precambian. And these are all like microscopic underwater symphonies that are going through the whole side two of Paleozoic. Very chill, very relaxing, and I like it. So that is Paleozoic. Then this was kind of like haven't made a lot of notes on this yet, but this is not his most recent album. It's called Rat's Alley, and for the cover, he's doctored up this old classical record cover. And the record that's inside, all these are on colored vinyl, by the way, is a lilac or lavender vinyl. And this came out, what year? I think this is 2021 that this one came out. And this one is a bit more like more experimental jazz. This one is sounds the closest to being played by an actual band. As the science and the technology of digital audio workstations keeps on progressing, artificial drummers are getting better and better all the time. So that is one big improvement that this record makes. And this is a bit more jazz-like, a little bit less symphonic-like. I need to listen to this a third time to see how it is. But here's a good question. How does one find Michael P. Dawson's recordings? Glad you asked that question, Kevin. They are available on Bandcamp, the same place that you can find the Spudlock record. All right. Now, there's one other record that he did after that, which I am going to end up purchasing. But his most recent album only has a very limited pressing on vinyl, but he does have a very nicely put together digital paperback for this new album, Hurtle Turtled Out of Heaven. and electronic music composition. This is his most recent album. And this is pretty much all electronic. There's a whole list of different Moog instruments on here, including some effects units. And there's all sorts of titles on here, but it's basically split into 3 different tracks. And this album is best enjoyed when you just sit down and listen to the whole thing. This is abstract, but there's so much thought going on with this. There's strains of Morton Sabatnik, Jean-Michel Jarre, and also some shades of Wendy Carlos's original things like Sonic Seasonings and stuff like that. But all done with the flair that Michael has been putting into his work. This is probably my favorite of all of these so far, and the one that seems most organic, even though this is all electronics. Very well spun together, and very happy to be able to listen to this, and very thankful to receive this CD. So thanks very much, Michael. I'm looking forward to more as the years go on with your music. So let's give it up for Michael P. Dawson. Once again, go to bandcamp.com. Now, you may want to run there right now and buy all this stuff, but you may want to wait until the first Friday in June, which I believe is June 7th. On the first Friday of every month, Bandcamp does this thing called Bandcamp Fridays, where it doesn't cost any less for you to purchase music off of Bandcamp, but somebody's got to pay for Bandcamp, and it's the artists that pretty much pay for it. When an artist puts their music on Bandcamp, Bandcamp makes a commission off of every title sold. But on Fridays, the first Friday of every month, they've been doing this for a while now, and they say that they are going to continue to do this, and I applaud them for that. When you buy an album on a Friday off of Bandcamp, Bandcamp does not take a commission off of it. The artist gets the money. It's not a lot of money for each one, but if they sell more copies, it adds up. It's a very nice thing for them to do. So check out Michael P. Dawson on Bandcamp. And if you can wait until next Friday to buy them, you can do that. All right. What other stuff we got to talk about? There was a very interesting live stream that I saw. I don't know, it was last night or the night before. Steve Westman did one of his audiophile roundtables. This is really late at night. I think it was on Thursday. And he talked for the second time with the legendary remastering engineer and host of one of the most popular audiophile forums in the universe, Steve Hoffman himself. Talked a lot about different albums that have been remastered over the years and what the sound quality is like. And really interesting. You will never look at the original run of the Beatles on CD the same way after you listen to this video. So check it out. And Steve Westman is a good guy. I've been a guest on one of his roundtables, but check that out. All right. I didn't know if I would get enough time for this, but I got 20 minutes left. Oh, wait a second. What is this? No Bandcamp Friday in June, July, or August. Next one is in September. Oh, well, I don't know if you want to wait that long. So go ahead, order freely and frequently from Mr. Dawson. And once again, I want to do an online chat with you on YouTube sometime. So I'll email you. We'll get together. We'll figure this out. All right. So the next thing I want to talk about is something that kind of disgusts me. And it's disgusted a lot of people. But there was a list of albums that came out recently. Some of you know what I'm going to be talking about. And it turns me into the devil whenever I do it. It makes me so mad. What is this thing that I'm talking about? Well, Apple Music put out this list called the Apple Music. Let's see what the Apple Music 100 Best Albums list. Wikipedia describes it as an opinions survey and curated music ranking of the finest albums in history. Created by the streaming service Apple Music, its team crafted its first list alongside a group of artists that included Pharrell Williams, J Balvin, Maren Morris, and Charlie XCX. The list is an editorial statement and does not take into account any streaming figures on Apple Music or any other streaming service. Okay. This is the dumbest list. I don't care what your favorite type of music is. This is a dumb list. I don't know how or why they put these albums in this way. Let's just start with the bottom ones from 90 to 100, okay? Or better yet, from 100 to 90. Okay. The 100th best album ever, according to these people, is Body Talk by Robin. Never heard it. Probably never will. Number 99, Hotel California by the Eagles. All right. I can see where that would land on a best of list because it's an album that has sold gazillions of copies. So, okay, I can see that. Number 98, Astroworld by Travis Scott. I have never heard this album. 97, the self-titled first album by Rage Against the Machine. Now, that is a good album. Very likely deserving of being one of the top 100 albums. Let's move on. Pure Heroine by Lorde. That's her first album, which had the song Royals on it. Not a bad album, not a great album. I'm surprised that it turned up on here. Number 95, Confessions by Usher. That was an album that kind of like came and went. Number 94, Untrue by Burial. Never heard of it. Number 93, A Seat at the Table by Solange. Never heard of it. Number 92, Flower Boy by Tyler, the Creator. Now, I've heard several Tyler, the Creator albums, and I truly apologize for any Tyler, the Creator fans out there, including Malachi Lou. I just can't see why people love his music so much. Maybe someday it'll hit me, but okay. Number 91, Listen Without Prejudice, Volume 1 by George Michael, which is a pretty cool album. Not his best, but pretty cool. And number 90, an album which is truly a mega seller, Back in Black by AC/DC. Okay, so let's keep on going through. There's a lot of hip hop on here, but not that much soul music and very little jazz music. But there is a very large bunch of hip hop, a decent amount of rock, and strangely enough, some electronic stuff. Okay, so let's just go on here. Some classic stuff. I Put a Spell on You by Nina Simone at 88. Oh yeah. My Life by Mary J. Blige, very popular. That's at 86. 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Trying at 82. Neil Young's After the Gold Rush at 81, followed by Eminem's Marshall Mathers LP at number 80. Goodbye Yellow Brick Road by Elton John at 78. And then we've got Bad Bunny, Missy Elliott, blah, 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 SZA. Then some more classic LPs, Downward Spiral by Nine Inch Nails at 74. Asia by Steely Dan at number 73. Kraftwerk, Trans-Europe Express at 71. Very good. Metallica's Master of Puppets, 69. So, and stuff's all over the place. Baduism by Erykah Badu at 64. Are You Experienced by the Jimi Hendrix Experience at number 63. Velvet Underground and Nico at 60. It's very surprising that the Velvet Underground is at 60 while the Eagles are at 99. That might be good. Queen is Dead by Smith at 66. Okay, number 50 is Hounds of Love by Kate Bush. And it says that is better than number 51, which is Sign of the Times by Prince. What? That album was a masterpiece. I love Sign of the Times. One of the best Prince albums. Okay. Paul's Boutique by Beastie Boys, number 48. Oh, yeah. I approve. Stevie Wonder, Intervisions, 44. I Never Loved a Man the Way I Love You by Aretha Franklin, number 40. Illmatic by Nas, number 39. And now, where is the jazz? Oh, there's the jazz, number 54, A Love Supreme by John Coltrane. That should be in the top 10 as far as I'm concerned. That, and of course, the other essential jazz album, Kinda Blue by Miles Davis. That should be like in the top 20, top 25. So we're going to keep on going. Number 33 is Radiohead Kid A. Number 32 is Ready to Die by Notorious B.I.G. The Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd is number 28. Led Zeppelin 2 is number 27. Oh, there it is. Number 25, Kinda Blue by Miles Davis. Yay! Ziggy Stardust by David Bowie, number 24. Okay, now, I have not seen Sgt. Pepper's in here by the Beatles. So let's go to the top 15. Let's see. Wait, number 16 is Blue by Joni Mitchell. Edge is out. Marvin Gaye's What's Going On. Number 10 is Lemonade by Beyonce. Okay, people love Beyonce. I'm not that huge a fan. Nirvana's Nevermind is number 9. Okay, I can dig that. Amy Winehouse, Back to Black, number 8. Number 7 is Good Kid, Mad City by Kendrick Lamar. Very, very conflicted with Kendrick Lamar. I can hear the creativity in what he does, but I'm sorry, I am not a fan. His stuff just does not hit me the right way. Songs in the Key of Life by Stevie Wonder, one of the best albums ever. Very, very deserving at number 6. Frank Ocean's Blonde at number 5. I don't know. Okay, so here's the top 4 albums. I'm sorry, the top 4. Number 4 is Purple Rain by Prince and the Revolution. Number 3 is Abbey Road by the Beatles. Number 2 is Thriller by Michael Jackson. And the number 1 album, the best album of all time, according to these folks at Apple Music, is The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill by Ms. Lauryn Hill, which I know was very, very popular when it came out back in the late 90s. I had never heard the album. Today, I listened to the whole thing. I'm sorry, it just did not thrill me. I mean, some good singing, some good rapping on it. She does a really nice kind of almost New Jack Swing reinterpretation of "Can't Take My Eyes Off of You," the old Four Seasons tune. And there's this one track where the chorus seems to be borrowed from "Welcome Back" by John B. Sebastian. If he wasn't listed as an author on that tune, Lauryn Hill owes him some money. So that is that. The Apple Music 100 Best Albums. If you don't want to look at the real snazzy formatted list on the Apple website, go to Wikipedia and look up Apple Music 100 Best Albums. You'll be able to see that. All right. Now, I haven't been able to see any of your chats over the past 10, 15 minutes. Let's see what you have to say about this. Do you like Diet Coke better than the original Coke? Well, I love Diet Coke, and it's the only thing I can drink because I'm a diabetic. So there. All right. I do believe they chose Highway 61 from Bob Dylan. Let me take a quick look and see if I can find that. Let's see. Yep, Highway 61 was number 15. Very good look for that. Everything about Apple Music is dumb. Well, that's a matter of opinion. I can appreciate that. Dan B says, I would use Apple as a source for music info like I would use ExxonMobil for info on electric vehicles. Very good. All right. And they have, you would have thought that the myth of Sgt. Pepper was over. Well, I don't know. Sgt. Pepper is an album that did change the course of popular music. And it's still a great album. I still love listening to it, even though I never have to listen to it again. But yeah, it's a great little record. Let's see. And here's another good comment. Something similar happens on television. Garbage shows go on forever, but the best of the best get canceled super fast. You know what? I can dig that because I know that you lost your prized Quantum Leap. There was a show that was on for maybe 2 seasons called The Unicorn. It was a funny show. It was a very well-written show. And it had some good storylines going through it, but it got canceled after 2 seasons. I would have loved to see that show go on for a long time. Another good show that lasted much longer than we ever thought it would was Community. That was a great show. That was hilarious. And there's this show that I can't stand on CBS called Ghosts. I know it's a remake of a British show, but I still don't like it. I think it's one of the worst shows ever. But people seem to like it. They watch it. I don't know. I can't believe that America's Got Talent is still on the air. It's turned into a geek fest where just people come and try to do just more outrageous stuff. It's crazy, I tell you. So, oh, we got 5 minutes left. Indeed, we have 5 minutes left, and we don't have the synthesizer hooked up tonight. So we're not going to do music to end the show. What else can I talk about to get this through? Something that I may be doing next week. One of the things I would like to do is I would like to have you folks star in the show. I want to bring people on the air. Excuse me, from all over the country, all over the world. I'm going to bring people up on the screen and talk to you folks. That's what I would like to do. The other thing I want to do is one of the very first live streams I ever did. It wasn't a Saturday night live stream like this one, but I did an auction where I sold some records for a friend of mine. I've got some records I'm pulling out of my collection that I am selling, mostly at a fixed price. But if people want to pay more, I'll let them do that. That is something else that might be coming up on a future Box of Sound live stream on a Saturday night. That will be a lot of fun. Oh, was there anything I listed that I didn't talk about? Nope, that's about it. Let's see. Nope. Not going to talk about doctor appointments or my phone bill. Those were notes to myself, not to talk about on here. Let's see. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That lasted about 2.5 hours, and it was fantastic. You know what? I'm going to call Roman in here because I want to get a quick movie review.
There's a bug.
Where? Where's a bug? Ooh, yuck! I'm going to kill that thing. Ew! Very good, Roman. Ah, he's dead. He's dead. Dead.
What does it look like?
I don't remember the name of that bug, but he was sickening looking. Crawling on the ceiling. It's that season. It's summertime in the U.S. This is the weekend of Memorial Day, and summer is upon us. And bugs are trying to get into the house. I've been spraying like crazy. Luckily, we haven't gotten too many, but every now and again, we get something in here. Man. All right. So could I get you to stand up and come on in here for a second? I want to talk to you about a movie that you saw that I wanted to see, but you got to see it first. And I'll probably watch it when it comes available on streaming. So make sure that you don't knock your iPad on the floor. Folks, it's Roman. Give it up. So you went to see a new movie last night called If, which means imaginary friend, right? And you liked it a lot. Can you like slowly tell us what it's about? Is it like about a person who has an imaginary friend, or do lots of people have imaginary friends in this
It's about
movie?
lots of people have imaginary friends,
Uh-huh.
and this one girl can save them by giving them imaginary friends, or like giving them back their their friends, or the kids,
How can somebody lose their imaginary friend?
by forgetting them.
Oh, okay. So if they forget about them, they disappear. So
They can't see them.
they can't see them. Okay. But uh, now, when somebody has an imaginary friend in the movie, they can see them, but can other people see them? Okay. So nothing ever happens where the imaginary friends become real, or does it?
No.
Okay. But it is funny, right? Okay. And you would recommend it for kids and adults? Do you think that there's funny stuff in there that's more for adults than kids? No? All of it's good for everybody? Okay, cool. That is our movie review for this week. Thank you so much.
It's like a mix of different emotions.
Okay.
Funny, sad, and happy.
Okay, I like that. And speaking of movies about emotions, do you remember the movie Inside Out?
Yeah,
They're coming out with a second one
I know.
where there's more emotions. I want to see that.
I wonder when they're going to make a third one.
What, a third Inside Out? It depends. If this second movie is really popular, they may make a third one. What one movie that Roman saw, which he was very sad that they did not make a sequel of, was Iron Giant. Do you remember the Iron Giant?
Oh my!
That's
Don't remind me.
It's a great movie, great animated film, and the guy that made that film, he made it with the intention of there only being one movie. And Roman's used to watching sequels, watching number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, And when and he watched that movie twice and he loved it. And he says, I want to see Iron Giant 2. And I said, sorry, there's no Iron Giant 2. And you were not happy about that. But because at the end of the movie, there's that one little bolt that starts twitching and vibrating like it's going to come to life, and that there's more.
They should have done that.
You know, it makes you think there's still life left in that robot, and they never made another one. So you never know. Maybe when you grow up, all of a sudden, boom, Iron Giant 2.
They have to make one.
Yeah. Well, you never know when they will. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. There was one movie that was made which I enjoyed a lot. It was called The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension. And he had his team, they called them the Hong Kong Cavaliers, and they traveled through time and through dimensions, fighting bad people like the evil Emilio Lizardo. And they made this movie like, okay, this is the first of many, but it came out and it wasn't that popular, so they never made another one. But that was a cool movie. If I can find that, I'd like to show that to you sometime. So
You know it's 11:01, right?
11-1. What do you mean?
11:01.
It is 11:01, and it is time for us to conclude tonight's Box of Sound live stream. I thank you so much for coming here, especially those of you who come here every week. It's like hanging out with a bunch of friends. This is so cool. So I will be here next week. If I'm going to make it a different type of show, I'll try to post it ahead of time and make the link available for people. But until then, I want to say, stay tuned for your local news, except for those on the West Coast. Had a great time. Hope you did too. Thank you for joining us. It wouldn't be a live stream without a little bit of music. And that's it. Good night, everybody.
Bye.